Hey there, welcome to the Logo Show. Today we are going to talk about yin yang, maple leaves, and
Wine and hammers.
In a world of dated logos, clip art icons, and Comic Sans, these two branding designers, who also happen to study color psychology, kerning, and the proper use of white space, rescue us from certain doom and educate us in a way that makes businesses stand up and shout proudly from the mountaintops. It's The Logo Show with Laura and Dave.
So what do you? Oh, everything could go wrong. It does go wrong. We tried to have a good episode. What do you think of the intro? I like it.
love the intro. I have to tell you, everyone that is watching, which is just like one person right now, but hopefully millions on the replay, you can lose weight with Dave just by spending minutes with him because he just makes you laugh. I say it every time, but it's so true.
Oh, it's
Spoken in a
true.
Rhode Island accent.
Show. Hey, how was your week?
I had a great week. I just had a scare that I just got groceries delivered to me from Whole Foods. Like, oh my gosh, like this is awesome that we live in the 21st century. And I got a scare that somebody stole my groceries because I went out to pick them up and they went there. But my brother
no.
or my sister-in-law who live right above me, I think they helpfully brought me in. So brought them in for me. But tell
Yeah,
me about your week, Dave. I
yeah.
feel
I've
like
had.
there's something you're itching to tell us.
Well, I wish I wasn't. It was a good week, but my business England studio puts on a fire on the beach party once a
Ooh.
month in the summer. We started it a couple years ago, then canceled for COVID. So we're back, and we did one in May. It was great. Had like 40 people out. We had actually the woman running for governor of Rhode Island show up because she saw it on Eventbrite, and her aides called and said, "What kind of party is this? Is it adults? Is it like yeah?" She came down, and but different people. Sal, my business partner, is in a man. He's in a bluegrass band. He invited a lot of pickers, a lot of bluegrass pickers, and we had like 10 pickers there, all playing bluegrass music live on the beach with a fire, and everyone sitting around and drinking some whiskey and wine and food and people we haven't seen before. We had like 40 people. It was great. It was really good. Biggest
Sounds
event.
amazing.
So I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're doing one in June, which is tonight, in fact, at 6 o'clock. I promoted it on the first time I ever did this. I put it on the Warwick Facebook page. That was a no-no. And a little bird inside of me said, maybe you shouldn't be pushing it that much. And I did it anyway. And I'm like, I like to have a lot of people there. What could go wrong? Well, someone called the police. Someone called,
Dave.
and then they called the commissioner. They called the local commissioner or the local
What?
senator who called the police, who ended up sending us an email. You cannot have a fire on the beach, blah, blah, blah. It's against the restrict. They sent us the code. We're like, oh no. And this was yesterday. We have all these people coming. And
What are
everyone
you
who
gonna
came last time, they want to come again. Yeah, we had to cancel. We had to cancel. We had to send out
Oh,
an email to 500 people and cancel. So I was not happy.
oh, well, I want to hear what are you going to do instead? Like that's what I want to know. I'm sure that I don't know, you're going to
Yeah,
come
we
up with
we
something
have a
cool.
backup. So my wife was going to invite two friends from work. We're having a not fire on the beach, but fire in our backyard party. It's only going to be maybe five or
Oh,
six of
can't
us.
do that.
Well, no, that'll be good. That's a little because her friends really wanted to go, and one of her friends lost her dog. He died, and so she's really hurting, and she was looking forward to coming, just having a glass of wine, and get to
Great
meet
laughs
people.
with Dave.
Yeah, like a wine with Dave. Yeah, so she's gonna come tonight. It's just gonna be a backyard, but we have a backup plan. So Sal, being the guy that he is, he's calling the police chief. He was on there for 45 minutes. He's
Wow.
calling
Go
other
Seattle.
people, the State Department rec. All these people are like, I don't know, you'd have to call this one. I don't know, you have to call that one. He's been doing the rounds. Come to find out, we're going to get a permit, and the woman waived the fee of $50. But a cop could still come, but we'll just say, look, and you know what the restriction is? You can't have a fire on the beach at all, unless you're cooking food. So we're going to bring hot dogs. There's the solution. We don't even have to open the pack of hot dogs. No, for the record, we are. We're going to cook on the beach. For the record, we will have hot dogs. We will have s'mores to make it legal. So we're gonna do it in July, and it's gonna be good. It's actually gonna be July 8th. You gotta come July 8th.
Yes, I'll be there.
Put it down. So that was my week or my day. It was cool. It was fun.
Crazy. Hey, do we have some super cool logo news that we just have to know right now?
We actually do. It's so cool that you said that, Laura. We do have logo news. Yes. Well, Disney Plus. We all know Disney Plus. If you don't have a subscription with Disney Plus, you kind of need to, right? They have a new show called Ms. Marvel. And let me show you where it is. Nope, where it is. Ms. Marvel. The new Disney Plus show, Ms. Marvel, has already been declared a hit, but it's a graphic design behind the Marvel's new show, the brand's first Muslim superhero. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Ms. Marvel live-action show embraces the comics that it's drawn inspiration from with a beautiful team scrapbook approach to its design and logos. But none of the Marvel properties have embraced the Gen Z branding aesthetic quite like Ms. Marvel. This is state-of-the-art for them. It's a blend of nostalgia, pop art, 1970s overlaps, 80s synthwave, and the 90s Memphis style. What do you think of those logos?
I love it. I have two questions. Can we turn the music off and zoom in?
What's that?
Can we turn the music off? Because
Right,
I
let me
can
just
kind of
finish.
hear what you're saying. But, that's so good.
Isn't that cool?
Better.
Could you hear what I was saying?
I could, but now I can hear you better. That's
Yeah.
really cool. So they've actually used kind of like the lettering, the shape of that logo, but they've done so many kind of different effects with it, but it still stays the same. Like the shape of it
Yeah.
is still exactly the same. I
It's
love
like
that.
the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, like school book
Yeah.
look to it, you know? So,
Wow, that's
I like
so
it.
fun.
I think it's cool. That's the new news. And they're going to use that logo in those different treatments on the show. Be sure to go to Disney Plus and check it out. But I thought it was interesting. The first Muslim superhero. That's different.
That is really cool. And I will say, Dave, that if you want to do something like that, like you whatever, you have some product or service where you feel like it could be used in all these different ways, that is one great reason or great argument for working with a professional designer, because a professional designer will be able to implement the shape and lockup, it's kind of like an inside term, of your logo really well into all these different environments. And they'll kind of notice potential problems, and help avoid, some kind of like visual muddy issues that you would not even be aware of. So if you do want to do something like that, hire a professional logo designer.
Absolutely, because sometimes if your logo is not designed professionally, it won't be able to be used in these different environments. You'll say, oh, I'd like to have it like in a neon background, or put it over a photo, or put it, wrap it around a photo of a football, or whatever. You can't. You're stuck with a bad logo. You need to hire a professional. So we say that all the time. So anyway.
And that's why we're here.
That's why we're here in Rhode Island. Hey, what's
so
up next?
let's look at some bad logos.
Yeah. You want to see some bad logos?
Yeah.
All
Do
right.
you want to show me yours first, or you want me to go first?
Well, let's do the intro, shall we?
All right.
All right,
I
Laura.
forgot
Why
about
don't you go
that.
first, and
Okay.
let's get the show on the road.
All right, so I was walking down the street the other day, and there's just like I have to say, there's a lot of bad logos around where I live, but I just think they're everywhere. And I saw this guy,
Oh,
like,
oh
I
gosh.
don't know, like I feel like there's a few things wrong with this. First of all, the so it's TW Financial Group. That's the name of this organization. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And they're they've actually put the TW, which are kind of like the main like differentiators. Like financial group is like such a kind of a generic phrase. I guess
Oh,
they need it maybe, but they've put it in this yin yang thing. But they've put these dark blue letters on this medium blue background, so you actually can't even really like
yeah.
they don't even really stand out very well. Also, the yin yang thing, like, what does that have to do with financials? Like, it doesn't, it just feels like, it just feels like they went into Microsoft Word or Google Slides and were like, hey, let's just come up with some cool shapes and stick our letters on them. And it's just, I would never do business with these people. They look like they don't care about their logo. So why are they going to care about, helping me and helping me reach my financial goals? One other thing that I wanted to point out is that this is right down the street from me. This is the look at like the whole sign. And
Oh,
at the very least, what they could have done was actually put the yin yang symbol, like stacked it on top of financial group.
yeah.
And so that would have actually filled the space of the sign a little bit better. But like, not only did they not have a professional designer help them with their logo, but they didn't even have a professional designer help them get their logo on this sign, which is like a really big sign. It's right on, as you can see, it's right on Reservoir Ave, right here in Cranston. And it's actually a beautiful building. I can't really show you that because it's not in the photo, but it's just a huge, like, thwump or whatever that other sound is for something that just like falls and like is really sad and depressing. Yeah, so that's my bad logo, Dave. What do you think? Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, you can take that off the screen right away. That's horrible. Wow. Well, first of all, they had to. I like the finishing touch. They add a blue line underneath the name, financial group, to
Yeah.
like underline it. Like, why? Why put an underliner? That's a trend that went away a long time ago. So they clearly are a financial group with lots of money, and they don't know where to spend the money in. They really needed a new logo. That's horrible.
Or not very much money.
Yeah, really not. Really not. Well, I've got a bad one.
Show me.
Let me show you my bad one. Let me pull it up on the screen. I got too many overlays here. Where is it? Where is it? Uh-oh. Here it is. Ready to see this? Hold
Yeah,
your
I'm ready.
horses.
Oh no.
I know, right? Is that sad or what? It's called Thebo Home Improvement, and it's a local carpenter here in New England. And again, I've said this 1,000 times: don't use tools of your trade to spell a name. This is just horrible. It looks like Hammer Hebolt Home Improvement. So,
Right.
and someone might say, "Oh, that's clever," but like, what are you trying to say, that you're a clever home improvement person because you have a clever logo when it's really not clever? The font is a little hard to read. I mean, you kind of see Hebel, but then that font does not go with Home Improvement. That is a
No.
marriage that's destined for divorce. That is a font divorce ready to happen because the Home Improvement is like this digital looking bad. And look at the R and the O of improvement. I
Yeah, they're
mean, the
not
R is in the
spaces
R is
though.
in California. The O is in New York. I mean, it's so far away. It's like they call that kerning, like our intro talks
Yep.
about kerning, and then the H and the I, the capital letters, they just blew it up, and therefore the thickness of the font gets thicker, so it doesn't even match the OME or the improvement. It's like a thick H and a thin OME and a thick I. The
Yeah.
whole thing is wrong. Not to mention that the hammer is really facing the wrong way. You should always have things facing the right. So
Yes.
it's kind of like it should be facing the other way. And it's a bad hammer. There's other hammers that have longer headstock that looks more like a T. The whole thing is just bad. I'm sorry. It's bad.
Well, I had just a few things that I don't like about it. I totally agree with everything that you said, Dave. I feel like first of all, that is a photo of a hammer.
Yes.
At least that's what it looks like. Uh, newsflash, do not newsflash, do not include a photo in your logo. You
That's
want
right.
your logo to be something that can scale. By scale, I mean it can like you can put it on the side of a building and it will still be nice and sharp. You cannot
Hmm.
do that with photos. So they're using a photo of a hammer, which is just it's just bad. You're right on that. It's facing the wrong way. Also,
And it's
is that what
bad
you
quality photo too. It's
it's a bad
really
quality photo?
yeah.
But also, is that what you want me to know about what you do? That you can like you really know how to handle a hammer? Like I know how to
Yeah.
handle a hammer. Like I'm a homeowner, so that is doing you no favors by including a hammer in your logo. That's actually
Hmm.
making me think that maybe I should just do this on my own and not hire you because if what you're kind of telling me is like you have a really cool hammer in your tool belt, that's I should just work on my own. Like that speaks nothing to like your ability to do quality workmanship,
That's a good
to
point.
I don't know, some other great tools you might have. But I mean, I'm not hiring you for the tools you have. I'm hiring you for your skills.
Right.
And this
Exactly.
logo is not telling any of that. The other thing, just to kind of like say one more thing about the fonts, that script font, I don't know the name of the font, but I recognize it. I've seen it in other logos before.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just doesn't look special. It just looks pretty generic. That's something that I've seen with a lot of script logos. I think people are like, "Oh, I'm going to get this script logo and I'm going to have like some cool like, swashes and it's going to look like it was handmade."
Hmm.
95% of the time, you're using a script that, like, the next coach down the street, like, put on his or her business card. And you're just going to look like everyone else,
Yeah,
which
and
is
you could get
the
someone who has
opposite.
great handwriting to just write on a clean white piece of paper with a Sharpie marker, just like Thibault,
Right.
and that would be, and then you could scan that, and then
Yep.
underneath it, home improvement. So just like they did here with the hammer dropping down, you could just add home improvement, but using a signature is custom, which says that you are a custom home improvement. The other thing is home improvement runs too far off the edge. I would have tightened it up.
Yep.
It's just really bad. I don't want to show it anymore. It's pretty bad. I just really have to take that off the screen.
I know.
Um, so yeah, those are bad. So yeah, we have some wins today, right?
Yeah.
You ready?
Let's cue that.
All right. So let's go to you first.
Okay.
Oh, you're doing a full screen. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a full screen. Here's what I got for you. So,
Nice.
yeah, so we have the previous logo on the left and the new logo on the right. Maybe I'll actually just move this little guy up. Um,
Can you shrink it so we see you talking about it, or no?
Yeah, so I just wanted to comment on this, and then I'm gonna get off
Okay.
this. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to see the previous logo, the previous version of the logo. But um, so I actually think that, sorry, I always forget which side to like shift to. So I actually think that this is super cool. So Ottawa is, it's in Canada, and we all know the symbol of Canada is the maple leaf, right? Isn't that like their hockey team or something?
Canadian
Isn't it
Maple
like
Leafs.
the
Yeah.
Canadian Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um so how awesome and simple and just kind of bold is it to use that maple leaf symbol, but use it like on a letter. And I don't know, I just think it's like really cool. It's very simple. You can make this logo super small and you can still tell what it is. You can still tell what's going on. And
That
it's
logo
this
has a
beautiful
lot of
color.
legs.
Yeah, it has so many good things going for it. I mean, it's super easy to read. I also feel like the style of the type of the TTAWA is, it just kind of goes really well with the O, like
Right.
whatever the what we would call like the artwork or the icon.
Yeah.
It's not like more decorative or like less decorative. They aren't kind of like competing with each other in style. They're
Right.
complementing each other, which I
Yeah, they're
think
very soft. They're
really
not
good too.
hard edges. They're slightly soft radius. I like that.
Right.
And the thickness of the O, the smallest part of the leaf touching the white moon or the white center is as thick as the font. So
Yes.
that's like it's balance. It's the right weight. Sometimes you have an icon that's just a bit heavier than the font, or the vice versa, but that is blended really well.
Yeah, you're so right, Dave. That's something that I talk about with some of my clients that are like interested in that stuff. Some of them are like, I don't know what you're talking about. I try not to go too deep into the weeds, but yeah, you do always want to have, if you do have a logo with an icon, you always do want the icon in like the stroke style and the boldness or the
Hmm.
lightness of what's going on in the icon to complement the text that you have or the name of your business, whatever it might be. You want them to like really go together well. You don't want someone to look at them and be like, huh, I don't really think these are supposed to go together. They look like they meant to fit together like beautiful puzzle pieces.
Yeah, I like it. And that's a good it's a good color scheme with the red. I mean, that's got a lot of legs. You could put that in anything. That's a great little stamp. I could see that at the bottom right corner of a photo. That it
Yeah.
could be large, it could be small. It's very strong. I like it. That's a good one. It's good.
Thanks.
And I'm not a fan of red logos, but I wonder why they picked that. That might be. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs use red, so maybe they're tying that
Yeah.
in.
Well, and I think isn't the Canadian flag red and white?
Oh, well, there you go. I think it is. I think it is. All right, so here's me. I've got a good one. I've got a win of the week. Not to coin a phrase that's very popular. You ready for this one? I
Yeah.
think you're going to like this one.
Ooh.
So this is
Oh, that's
Moonshine. They're a
great.
bar and a restaurant. I can't tell you where they are. I forgot actually, but look at the moon, right? And then you got the splashing wine in there. You almost want to go to a place like that. And they
Yeah.
tied in the red, the pinkish red wine is almost the same. Well, the shadow of that is the same color as bar restaurant. So it's really a three color logo. It's white and it's two tones of red. And they're
Right.
using white as moonshine, and then the bar restaurant is that shadowed part of the wine. And it's on this purple background, which is really dreamy. Purple is just
Yeah.
so dreamy, and like you want to go there and relax and sit by a fire when you see like purples and pinks and stuff. It's really sweet. I like that, and I love the swoosh of the wine. Can't you just imagine that you're sitting with your date, husband, wife, and they just took their wine and they just kind of just twirled it a little bit, and it's making that little wave. It just, I want to go there. I want to go on a date with my wife there. That's just great.
I totally love that, Dave. I'd actually be curious to see what this looks like on a white background. I know that you probably don't have a visual you can show us, but I would imagine that what you see in white there would become that kind of like dark
The
plum or
purple,
whatever
yeah,
you
the
want to call
plum.
it, eggplant color.
Yep.
Which I think those colors actually go really, really nicely together.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
white
I
around the
love that.
moon would disappear, and then the white moonshine font would be that plum, and then the bar restaurant would stay the same. That's what it would look
Yeah,
like on white. Yeah.
yeah. I think that looks really cool. I
Little
love it.
vintagey.
I love the font that they have for moonshine. It's kind of like unexpected, but
Yeah, it's old.
it doesn't
It's
like not it doesn't compete too much with like the style of the icon, which is what we were just talking about.
exactly. And the thickness of the font of moonshine, if you look at that vertical font of M, is the same thickness
Yep.
as the icon, the white. So
Right.
it's careful attention to detail. So I love it. It looks like a 1920s font. And tracking, for those of you listening, tracking is the space between letters. And they kind of stretched it out and gave more space and pulled it out, which makes it really fly off the page, whatever color you're putting it on. And it's just so good. It's so
Yeah.
understated. I like it.
I love it. I'm kind of I'm ready to pour myself a glass right now, Dave.
Pour yourself a glass of wine. So that does our show, right?
That does our show. Again, I feel like I've lost a little weight as usual. The laughs
A
are
little
great.
bit. How are your abs?
My abs are great. And I have to say, if anyone ever needs ideas for how to like shoot a really cool, I don't know, commercial or video intro or video outro, even hit this guy up. He's amazing. His ideas are awesome. And you lose weight while you work with him because he
Yeah,
makes you look.
exactly. Your videos can go from black and white to color. You know, it's funny, just to let everybody know, it took us about an hour to get ready for some of these shows, but you know, sometimes it's 10 minutes and then we go live, but we were having some technical difficulties, but we have a new intro, so we're really glad about that. And we want to thank Daya Ottley. I'm
Yes.
going to put him in the show notes. Tell us about Daya.
Okay, Daya is like the voice coach of your dreams. He is like, well, if you're a woman, which you're not, right, Dave?
I
If
don't
you're
think
a
so.
if you're a woman, Daya is like the best comfy bear hug of a voice coach you could possibly ask for. He's like challenging, but also makes you feel like comfortable at the right time. He is, oh my gosh, he is awesome. I've worked with him for a bit. I love him to death.
Yeah, and he's the voiceover on our intro and outro, which you'll see in a second. And he doesn't just do voiceover, he actually trains you when you are public speaking or in your own video, or just giving an elevator pitch, 10-second elevator pitch, to work on your tone in spacing and timing and cutting out the uhs and the ums. And so he's not just a voiceover actor, he trains you how to speak publicly. Great guy. We highly recommend him. We're going to put his link in the show notes so you'll be able to see that. Are
Yes.
we ready for the outro? This is a grand opening.
Yes, we are. Thank you,
Tune in
Dave,
for,
for putting this together.
yeah, tune in for our next episode, folks.
You've watched another episode of The Logo Show. Be sure to subscribe to catch the next episode live.